of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Caitlin Clark is making waves in women's basketball, drawing in crowds and transforming the game with her standout performances. However, her rapid rise has stirred up mixed reactions. While she's gained plenty of fans, some players and critics are quick to question her success, suggesting her popularity may stem from factors beyond her skills on the court. Many WNBA veterans and commentators argue that Clark should earn her respect, just like any rookie, hinting that her college success and media hype might be overshadowing her true abilities. At the start of the season, some even labeled her as soft or entitled, fueling the competitive atmosphere. On the court, it's not just tough talk. Defenders have often taken physical shots at her, moves that go beyond strategic play, seemingly aiming to intimidate or throw her off. One of the worst incidents happened during a game against the Chicago Sky. Guard Chelsea Carter aggressively hit Clark while they waited for an inbound pass in what many saw as an unprovoked hostile move. The footage shows Carter's intentional contact, sending Clark to the floor with no apparent play-related purpose. The hit sparked backlash, with fans and media demanding answers. Carter, however, brushed off the incident as part of the game, though her intent appeared more personal than competitive. Clark's journey in the WNBA highlights both her resilience and the challenges she faces as a newcomer. If these hostile encounters continue, the league risks alienating one of its brightest young stars, a player with the potential to reshape the future of women's basketball.
Compete no matter who you are and no matter who's in front of you. So that's just what it was. Heat of the moment play, we're getting at it, we're going back and forth. It's basketball, it's all hoops. After we finish the game, it's all love. I don't have any regrets.
Eddie Carter tried to justify her actions, but her words came off as anything but respectful. Her comments only stirred the pot further, showing a clear disregard for Caitlin's achievements and a reluctance to give her due credit. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, a two-time WNBA MVP, has also been vocal in her critique. Although her tone is less direct, Wilson has made it clear that she doesn't see Clark as someone who's earned a place among the greats just yet. Wilson brushed off the idea of Caitlin being one of the best college players, pointing to her lack of championship titles. But let's be real, this isn't about trophies. It's about the arrival of a rising star who's capturing more attention than some veterans are comfortable with. As new talent starts to steal the spotlight, it's easy for those already established to downplay the impact of fresh faces on the scene.
Ooh, that's tough because you got to win one. I feel like that college is one of those spaces where you got to win one for them to even have your name in the conversation. And it took me 3 years to win mine, so it's hard. But congrats.
While it may not sound harsh at first, there's a clear hint of jealousy in how Caitlin Clark's success is dismissed. Clark has an impressive track record, leading Iowa to back-to-back NC double-A championship games, though they narrowly missed the title both times. But the criticism she's facing now isn't about fair competition or logic. It's about a rising star whose achievements are threatening to those who can't accept her rapid ascent. Next season, when Clark and Wilson inevitably face off in the WNBA, we'll see if Wilson can back up her words. It's not just current players taking jabs either. Some former players are also jumping into the mix, often fueling media buzz to stay relevant, even if it means throwing shade at Clark. Since they have little at stake, these retired players sometimes go even further, refusing to give Clark the respect she's earned. Take Lynette Woodard, for example. The former NC double-A scoring record holder for women seemed unable to hide her envy when she commented on Clark surpassing her record, downplaying Clark's accomplishments in a way that felt as petty as it was obvious.
The record was hidden from everyone for 43 years. I don't think, I'll just go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. I don't think my record has been broken because you can't duplicate what you're not duplicating. So unless you come with a men's basketball and a two-point shot.
Contrast this with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who immediately congratulated LeBron after he broke his NBA scoring record. It seems some former stars in women's basketball find it harder to accept Caitlin Clark as a genuine force, often downplaying her success or twisting her stats to make her accomplishments seem less impressive. Woodard, for instance, had no valid reason to sound so bitter, showing poor sportsmanship toward a fellow athlete. Clark's critics are also quick to overlook facts when it suits them. Much has been said about her modest base salary this season, remarkable, considering her substantial NIL deals in college. There's a general consensus that Clark is significantly underpaid for one of the league's leading faces. Yet WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert doesn't seem to agree.
Caitlin has the ability to make up to $500,000 just in WNBA wages this year. So, of course, they're just looking at a base which is collectively bargained. And actually, it's low because she's the number one pick. She'll make a little more than that. But she also has millions and millions of dollars of endorsements.
You'd think the endorsement money Clark earns is her own business, not something she owes to the WNBA, especially considering the value her presence has brought to the league. But in a recent interview, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert downplayed Clark's contributions, as if she doesn't quite grasp why there's so much excitement around her. The WNBA hasn't done a great job promoting Clark, and most of the financial gains have gone to the league, even though Clark's star power is driving the revenue surge. Many media voices agree that Clark is at the heart of the league's recent boom, yet there are still some puzzling reactions. A good example came on Asterisk, the Pat McAfee show. Asterisk, where the popular host, known for his blunt, unfiltered style, surprisingly took things too far when discussing Clark's status among this year's rookie class.
What the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby.
Yeah, dog.
That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a...
It seems clear that McAfee intended to highlight Clark's unique standing among rookies, but using insults and a racial slur was entirely inappropriate. His own background doesn't excuse it. He should understand that speaking to a large audience means every word will be scrutinized. His remarks were especially concerning given the media's past attempts to frame Clark's rise through the lens of racial competition between black and white players. If there's one player often cast as Clark's rival in this narrative, it would be her college-era competitor and Rookie of the Year contender, Angel Reese. Reese, a dynamic 6'3" forward who once played for LSU and now plays for the Chicago Sky, has often been portrayed as Clark's equal. She famously led her team to defeat Clark's Iowa squad in the 2023 NCAA Tournament Finals and has embraced the perception of being Clark's opposite on the court. Reese's style of play is distinct, and she has shown no shortage of confidence in recent interviews, adding even more intrigue to this evolving rivalry.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too. And
Although Reese hasn't directly named Clark, it's clear that her remarks point in Clark's direction. Their rivalry has carried over into the WNBA, where both rookies are putting up impressive numbers. Their matchups have been intense, with all 3 games between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever, this season coming down to the wire. But the competition turned heated in one game, with Reese committing a flagrant foul that involved a direct hit to Clark's head. Online debates quickly erupted, with fans discussing which of these rising stars has the edge in their rivalry. While most of the conversation has stayed balanced, some opinions show clear bias. Retired WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops, who is black, voiced support for Reese and even downplayed the foul, calling it a routine basketball move. Swoops' stance added fuel to the debate, showing how the rivalry has taken on deeper implications beyond the court.
It's the clip they want to post because they're going to get all these likes and reposts, but that's a basketball play. She hit her in the head, so of course it should be upgraded to a flagrant one. Refs looked at it, they upgraded it. Can we keep playing basketball? My thing is, like, every time Caitlin gets fouled, we can't make it seem like she was assaulted.
This kind of commentary. Stephen A. Smith didn't outright say that Clark's favorable media portrayal is due to her being white, but he did note that race could be a subtle factor in how people perceive her success. While he clearly respects Clark and supports her growth, Smith understands that even mentioning race in the context of sports can be sensitive for some, given the United States' long history with racial issues. Sports have often been a place where societal views spill over, far beyond athletic skill and competitive spirit. Ideally, this debate would remain respectful, but that's not always the reality. Interestingly, it's not just within the black community where Clark faces criticism. In fact, some of the strongest dismissive remarks have come from white players. A key example is WNBA veteran and basketball icon Diana Taurasi, who made some cutting remarks when ESPN's Scott Van Pelt asked her opinion on this year's rookie class.
You could say it's race. I don't think that that's what it's all about, but race always plays a role in something like this to some degree. It's not completely out of the equation. It's always that, because America is America.
While Diana Taurasi definitely knows her basketball and deserves some grace, her comments about Caitlin Clark come off as condescending. After 4 incredible years in college, questioning Clark's readiness for the professional level seems a bit unfair. Still, it's natural for WNBA players to want to defend their positions and maintain their status as top competitors. Would we really prefer a scenario where the veteran players simply step aside and let Clark take the spotlight without any pushback? Some media figures are trying to provide a more balanced view. A few aren't afraid to speak up for both current and former players who express skepticism about Clark, even if it risks upsetting a larger audience. ESPN anchor Elle Duncan, for instance, passionately defended the veterans in the league, although her fiery rhetoric and unique word choices might have seemed a bit excessive.
Reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball.
Arena's comparison of Gigi Watkins to Caitlin Clark sparked a mix of reactions, showcasing the polarizing nature of the debate surrounding Clark's rise. For some, it highlighted the excitement and fresh talent emerging in women's basketball, but others saw it as an unnecessary attempt to pit players against each other. Arenas, known for his candid and often provocative opinions, might have been trying to draw attention to the new generation of players like Watkins. However, his comments could be interpreted as undermining Clark's accomplishments and the unique impact she has had on the sport. It's essential to recognize that while friendly competition is part of the game, Clark has consistently shown respect for her opponents and never asked for special treatment. The narrative around Clark is not just about individual talent, but also about her influence in transforming women's basketball, drawing new fans, and increasing visibility for the sport. Critics of her meteoric rise might downplay her achievements due to jealousy or fear of losing their own spotlight, but the focus should be on celebrating the growth and diversity of talent within the league. Ultimately, it's crucial for players and analysts alike to acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of each athlete, rather than using them as pawns in a broader narrative aimed at generating clicks or creating controversy.